everyone. I think that we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, I am Courtney with Staylist, and welcome to our first webinar of 2026. We are so excited to have all of you here. And like Bree was saying earlier, thank you so much for signing up. It really gives us a gauge of how many people are going to come, and then, all of the things that we can send you guys after the webinar is complete so that you have all of the good information that will be shared with you today. So as always, the beginning of 2026 for any business is going to be where we hit the ground running and we're really going to plan our course of action for this next following year. I know that we might have done a little bit in October, November, December of 2025, but here at Staylist, we're really diving in our last couple of months of Q4 to say, what can we provide to operators to be able to provide them with all the necessities to be a successful 2026? So we're going to spice things up on the webinar today. And instead of having a PowerPoint presentation, I'm actually just going to deep dive into you and show you on Staylist all of the new ways to make your operations more feasible and easier so that you guys can have a smooth transition process, not to only make more money, drive more business and save time, but to really be able to, train yourselves, retrain your staff for a successful season. So let me share my screen here and we'll get ready to go. So obviously here we have our, Bree, we can see, right? Good to go.
It it froze. It's not showing your screen.
All right, let's try again.
Oh, there we go. We see it.
You can see it? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So obviously, whenever we get ready and set to go, that we are on our Staylist dashboard. So one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to click into our availability grid. And so this is where we work out of, right? This is where we make all of our reservations, all of our bookings. So one thing that we thought would be really cool, easy, and feasible would be to click into the actual unit itself. And then you're going to be able to see all the information in real time, not have to go into your cogwheel under your units, under your categories and say, hey, what does this unit look like? Or what kind of information lies within, the unit itself. So no matter if it's an RV rental, whether it's one of your rooms, whether it's a cottage, whether it's a park model, no matter what your unit category is, you're actually going to be able to take and deep dive in all the information that you can provide for your guest when they're on the phone with you, when they're seeing in person, or if they just call for an FAQ. So first, you're going to have your photo, right? So you're going to have a photo of your site. You can have the length, the amount of slides, the guest. You can attach any of your amenities that are actually in your unit itself to be able to say, hey, yes, it's 50 amp. Yes, there's a picnic table. And yes, it's a back end. Maybe, it only says site one and it doesn't say back end. You can actually put specifics in here. And like I put in the description, it's also just a really cool spot. So here you can really, deep dive and write what you need to be able to provide information. Maybe every time they ask how many spots is it away from a bathhouse, maybe you can put that information in there without clicking on the map. These are just going to be really quick FAQs that you as an operator can say, hey, I'm going to pull this up for you real quick and then answer these questions right off the bat. Then you can also see in here your rate codes, your tax codes in case you have any, questions or discrepancies. And then recent reservations. So any past reservations that you've taken within, at however many days, then you're going to be able to see that on there saying, okay, this is when this was made, this is when that was made. And you can actually click directly into the reservation itself. I see all these comments saying this is amazing. It really is. I'm so excited to show you guys this because I really do think it's going to be a game changer for all of our operators out there. The next tab underneath it is going to actually be all past reservations, well, past and current reservations. So it's going to start at the top with the most frequent, right? So if we were to start from the bottom, you don't know if you maybe would start from 2027 or 2017, excuse me, and then, to 2020. So these are actually going to show you all your future reservations first, and then you can actually scroll down here and be able to see all the information for all your reservations that will be happening in the future. So you can also click into these reservations. You can see the money amount, their name, the check-in and check-out. So if you have a discrepancy, that happened in October of 25, but you can't remember their name, you do remember the site number, but you don't remember the reservation number either, you can actually scroll through here and find the reservation that will be fitting with that month. So maybe it happened this day here. You can go in here and then contact Mr. Jake and say, hey, you have an issue that will be needing to be resolved before you can check in next time. So this is just going to be a really great way to look at the history of your site, your unit, or your room to be able to really deep dive into that for your guest. And then the next best part of this entire thing is going to be, let's just say you have a guest that calls in and they want a specific, vacation rental unit. They want a specific site and they say, I don't care when, I just want to stay in between March to June for 10 nights. Well, then you can pull up that specific site and say, okay, well, you can't stay in March because we don't have any availability. You can stay in April, and these are the dates that you can stay in April. And so if they wanted to stay April 1st through the 10th, you can actually click and drag and then book exactly off of the calendar. So another great way to be time efficient, and obviously get your customers on and off the phone really quickly with just a click and a drag of a button to be able to book through that as well. So this is one really cool feature that I think all of you are going to utilize. I'll also show you within the vacation rental where if you have a cottage, right, and you want to provide additional photos, you can actually walk through the photos and be able to answer questions real time. So it's not just going to be one photo that's going to be presented. And this information also changes based off the unit and category type that you chose. So obviously you saw within sites that it said, it's a 70 feet in length. Whereas with this cottage, it's bedrooms and max amount of guests that can stay in that cottage. And then, of course, scrolling pictures, which we all love. So super excited for you guys to be able to turn this on and work with this internally. This is something that we will have happy camper dance. I love it. I know that this is going to be a game changer. And if you guys have any questions about this, then we'll do Q&A at the end. So since we're continuing to talk about reservations and how we can do and save time when it comes to, time with our guest. One really great feature that we also added is if you go to Cogwheel, you go to reservations and you go to cancellation policies, you guys are able to actually edit and change these all yourself, which I know is going to be a complete game changer because you don't have to go into support. You don't have to go into your implementation team or your customer success team and say, hey, can you please help or change this cancellation policy, because we want to add different roles. Within Cogwheel, again, reservations, cancellation policies, you can go in and edit all of these yourself or go in and add more. So I'll show you this cottage cancellation. This is one that I created right before we started. So here you do a little breakdown and it shows you 0 days prior to arrival, what your cancellation fee will be, 1 to 13 days, which is obviously 2 weeks, and then 14 days plus. So 2 weeks prior to reservation or beyond, this is how much you're going to be charged. So if you click the edit button or the add new, it's going to be the same thing, but since we already have information in there, I'm just going to click the edit button. Here, you can name your cancellation policy. So maybe you want to do just RV sites. Maybe you want to do just certain vacation rentals. Maybe you want to do certain rooms that are, closer to, a lakefront or an oceanfront. Here you can actually put your category specific in there and really choose within those. You can turn them active on or active off. And then if you have a minimum night that you want this to be occupied for, so it says they have to say at least this many nights to be able to be charged a cancellation. Obviously, we probably want to keep that blank just so that we can be charged them, or so that we can charge them a cancellation fee throughout all of their stay. So the first one that's going to default is 0 days before arrival. So you can either choose none, a flat amount, or amount of nights. You can put in a flat amount here or a refundable deposit of a number. And it's actually going to explain to you what you are doing whenever it comes to what you're putting in. So for this example, with a $100 deposit, let's just say the guest cancels, they're going to charge a higher fee, right, of $100, and the guest is going to receive a $0 refund. So if they're canceling the day of arrival, then they're going to receive zero money back. Here, it's going to say if they arrive or if they cancel 1 day prior to arrival, it's going to be a flat fee or per night. You can do $50, $100, however much you want to do, or a percentage of their stay. So for example, this one says with a $100 deposit, you're going to charge them a $50 cancellation, and then they're going to receive $50 back. And then for the last one that I created, it's 14 days prior to arrival. So that's 2 weeks and beyond, right? at a flat fee of $25. And so here's your example again. It says that the guest cancels compared to $25. It's going to be a $25 cancellation fee, and then they receive $75 back. You can add as many tiers as you want, and you can change these to be lesser or more. You can also only do them as a refund only to a gift card or a gift voucher. And so that way, with the gift voucher, you're not refunding back to the card on file and they have to use that at a different time. So, however you want to do your cancellations, they are literally in your hands now, which I think is going to be smooth sailing all the way across and a really easy way for us to be able to say, hey, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to play around. How am I going to do my cancellation fees? Maybe I change them, per unit category. And then because obviously we put a lot more time and effort in cleaning units and turning units versus, a regular RV site. So maybe you have a deeper cancellation fee when it comes to, your vacation rentals. And this cancellation policy allows you to do that. So this is just going to be a really cool way as well to be able to bleed into your availability grid and have, as an operator, the sky's the limit on what you can do there. So now I guess we'll pause for a second. Does anybody have any questions on availability or the cancellation? Nope. Okay, good. Perfect. So we'll keep going.
Oh, we have one hand raised.
Oh, okay.
It's Sean.
Mhm.
Hi, Sean.
Hello, imagine that I have my hand raised, right?
That's okay. We love questions.
So um on the grid where you can view the site, which is totally awesome now that you guys have added that.
Mhm.
But can we update anything when that window pops up, or do you still have to go through and update the way you used to have to do it?
Yeah, so that's just going to be a quick glance. So obviously, whenever you look at it here, you're not going to be able to edit right off of this because it's just going to be like technically like a thumbnail that populates right outside of your grid. So any edits that you want to do to the site specifically, you're still going to go into cogwheel units and then, well, there we go. Sorry, guys. You're going to go to cogwheel units and then go into your units there and then edit them the same way that you would if you were to change rates, if you were to update pictures, so on and so forth.
Okay, so yeah, that was just I didn't know if we could edit rates or anything or descriptions from that view or
Nope.
not.
Yeah,
Okay,
same way. This is just going to be a subset of everything that you do in units. It's just going to be broken out for your staff to be able to use.
right.
So if you were to have, restrictions for some of your staff members to not be able to change or edit any of your units or your categories, then that's just what they're going to be able to see when it comes to those changes that you make.
Okay. And then on cancellation policies, which is
Mhm.
also, I really like that. Um, my question for you is, so our cancellation policies are different for holiday weekends, and holidays than they are across the board for regular nights. So do you have the ability to set that? And then there's one thing that I saw in there that said minimum nights.
Yep.
Um,
So
so
the minimum, what you're referring to with the minimum nights is just saying, how many nights would they have to say that are optional that you're going to refund back? That's why I said I might would recommend maybe leaving it blank because, unless they're only saying 2 nights and you don't give any refunds, that's when you would put that there. But if you're going to, give back a refund, then you would just want to say for all numbers of night stays.
okay. But
Um,
then
and
on
then the
holiday weekends, how would you differentiate cancellation policies using this situation?
You still do it through events. Is that how you're using it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
I would still use it as events because the event is just going to override your cancellation policy. So
Okay.
keep doing that the same. Your cancellation policies are just for from a unit category perspective for you to be able to say, hey, these are going to be broken out for all of these instead of across the board throughout your sales platform.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. Perfect. Bree, I can't see. So any other questions? Are we good?
Yeah, I've got one. One thing to consider on the cancellation policies is to add a date range for it, where those policies are in effect for a given date range, because what happens is when you change your cancellation policy, which happens way too often, unfortunately, you want to have the new policy with it in effect for any reservations made at when that policy became effective. So it's a little tricky because it's not when the cancellation is made, it's when the reservation was made and what policy was in place when that reservation was made. So it shouldn't be, from a programming standpoint, terrible, a little more confusing to keep track of from an end user, but just a thought, just throw it out there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely understand that logic. And I'll bring that back to our product and development team, and I'll have them have that conversation about, if they can potentially put that in there, as a start and finish date for that as well.
Thank you, Pete. Sorry, I was going to let Courtney know who that was because she can't see. So
Thanks, Pete. Awesome. Anything else? No?
nope, no more
Perfect.
hands.
All right, so let's move on to POS. So this is one really exciting thing that I know that our team we've been talking to a lot of properties about, ways that we can enhance and make our POS better. And one way of that is going to be, if you have a snack bar, let's just say that you sell alcohol on property, you can now toggle where it says verify purchaser's age. And so if you take their ID, you have to put in a valid year date for them to be able to purchase that said alcohol. So it's just going to be, a, hey, did you check this from an employee standpoint? So that's going to be now located. If you go to your cogwheel POS, go to items, and then we're going to go to beer bottle here. You're going to click edit, advanced, and then it says age restricted item. So let's just say that you might sell tobacco on property too. You can also, make that live for that. If you have an entire bar, all of your bar drinks, you can put age restricted items. This is able to be toggled on and off. So it's really just a property perspective and standpoint of how you want to, run your business there. But that button is going to be there for you to be able to use within your POS items. And obviously, if you can tell, your POS items page also got a facelift. So if you guys have any additional questions here, we can take those offline and really deep dive, because I know everybody does their point of sale differently. And we can help you out with, barcode scanning, trashing items if they, you lose them or they get stolen. You can go into all of your edits and you're going to have an entire facelift here with photos, so on and so forth. So that's just a little tidbit as well. Another one is you can actually go into, if I have a hot dog, we'll go ahead and just purchase a beer as well, because they go well together. You can go into the hot dog too and actually do a % discount or a flat amount per item. So you don't have to, let's just say you're having a sale when it comes to just hot dogs for the day. You're really needing to lose that inventory. You can go in, click that item, and then say, okay, a hot dog is 10% off. And then you can let that item save. And then you know that your discount's going to be 15 cents for that hot dog. So just a way to get rid of inventory and really, be able to do specifically for specific items. And so then if we pay now, and then we'll do cash, got a 10 or something. And then if we're going to pull this out for this report, we actually just launched a new server report. So if you go to reports, POS, you go to server report, you're going to be able to see by hour all of the sales that you've taken in, the amount of transactions, and then your average check size or your average money amount. You're also going to see top seller by server. So you can see what servers sold the most, what item they sold the most, and the total amount of sales that you've got from those. And then your sales per server. So you can see what their total sales were, if they received any tips, if they did refunds, how many transactions, and then how many customers that they sold. So it's a really good way for you to gauge your employees and, see, if one's working or if one's not, or even what's selling and what's not. And so this right here is going to be, again, server report. You can do a click glance here. You can do it by person if you want. You can do it by location, by register if you have different registers, and then a start to end date of that as well. So this is a new report that was just launched. I recommend you guys doing a little deep dive there. And then lastly, actually, I got two more things for POS. So if you see here, this is going to be a happy hour discount. So if you want to add a discount that's going to completely sit on your point of sale from the end of time to the end of time, or if you want to do it for a specific hour, you can do that as well. So if you go to Cogwheel, you go to POS, oh, excuse me, you go to account, you go to locations, and then you click on your store if you have one. You go to POS here, and then here's my happy hour. So I did mine obviously starting before the webinar so that you guys could see it populate. But let's just say I wanted it to start at 4 p.m. and go to 7 p.m. If I go back into my point of sale, it's not going to be there. So that's just a good way for if you are wanting to have specific times on different discounts, then you can actually have those living in your locations on your specific places for your, if you have a tiki bar and you want to do a happy hour in your tiki bar, then that'll be located there. Or if you wanted to do, something for your employees and you wanted to add an employee discount, you can say employee. And then if you wanted to give them 10% off on any item, and that's obviously start to finish, we can save that there, go back into your POS, and then your 10% employee discount is going to be there for you guys to apply to anybody who works on property. So just two really cool ways to be able to add discounts and obviously enhance guest satisfaction because we all love that. And last but not least, this has been a really big ask from multiple properties that we have, which is a Z-out report. So what a Z-out does is it's actually going to take and clear your drawer, right? So if you guys handle a lot of cash on property and you count a 200 drawer before the beginning of a shift and that person's leaving for the day and then a new shift is coming in, they would Z out their report. So it's saying, this is Courtney's register. This is the location. I'm the cashier. Here's my start time. Here's my end time. I can put any notes if I wanted to add that. Then I say complete Z out. When I go and count my drawer, let's just say I have $172 in my drawer. I say confirm. I write that on my tab saying number 25 for my Z out. And then you as your operator, you as your manager, you as your food and beverage manager, your supervisor would go into reports. You'd go into POS, you go to the bottom to Z out, and you can actually see number 25, which I wrote on my receipt, right? I would click in here and it says that Courtney took in $6.84 in cash. So if you're counting and you're saying, well, your drawer's under by $4 or your drawer's over by $12, you as the manager is really going to be able to see and deep dive into why the drawer might be off, which is a great way to hold your employees accountable and to make sure that you're not losing out on cash. How many times have you had, teenagers and ice cream that it says that their drawer is $12 over, and then all of a sudden they're pocketing that $12 because, the system is telling them that they're $12 over. This is a good way to say, hey, no, write your Z out number on your report, bring it back to me. I'm going to count your drawer. And then obviously you guys can find the discrepancies, whenever you dive deeper on cash sales, credit card, and check if you take check to say, hey, why are the numbers off? So Z out report is something that we have to turn on for you. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know and I will turn it on for your property. So super excited for you guys to use all of these different ways within POS to obviously make your customers, at ease, your employees at ease, and then you at the end of the day, be able to pull your numbers and your money and say, why is this off? Or yes, this is working so smoothly. So I will take a quick pause for anybody who has questions on point of sale.
People are saying they definitely want it turned on for them. Let me see if I have, but no hand raisers. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, two questions. Randy, you can go first. Or did yours go down?
Who's that for me? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, my question, this is Pete again, and I'll address it. I've got a couple of meetings lined up with some Vlad and others, but it's great what you're doing. The Z out is something we've been wanting forever. We currently don't use the point of sale. We're going to start in April. So
Love it.
I'm glad I'm able to see this. Uh, and my only comment was that ZL report should actually be your entire report for your accounting system, which includes all your sales. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a separate little report about just cash. It could be all your activities for that Z out, because that's really what you want. You want all your general ledger accounts, all your sales, all in one report for that cash drawer. And then ideally summarize for all your locations or all your registers for the day, and then totaled up. But anyway, I'm working on that.
Yeah, and to your point too, within the POS, you can actually have PIN codes that are assigned to each of your, so if you have like 4 or 5 people who share one register, before they take a transaction, they would put their PIN code in, and their PIN code would actually register to their name as the employee or the server, however, your business is ran. And then at the end of the day, when it's Z'd out, it's actually going to break up for you each of those different employees or users and say, this is how much Courtney took in, this is how much Pete took in, this is how much Bree took in, this is how much Nick took in. And you're really going to be able to see a breakdown of every single employee, whether it's a refund, whether it's check, whether it's cash, so on and so forth. So all good ways that the Z Out does that. And we have multiple capabilities for you to be able to obviously attach, a PIN code, like I said, to different users within the system.
Also, Mary has her hand up. Thank you again, Pete.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of Pete here. This would be really good if it was like on the reservation side of things as well. Like all my staff use one cash register. So would you be able to have like those pin codes as they're doing it as well, or just have it record like this was the person that did it in Z, still they Z out for the day?
So are you wanting to look at different transactions per user at your front desk, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so I have one cash box and all my staff use the same cash box from morning to close.
Mhm.
So if they're when their shift is done, if they can Z out, that would be really great. So then I know what cash they took, I know what cash Rebecca took, I know what cash, Jeff took or whatever. Um, and
So
just kind of Z out at the end of their shifts.
you will be able to, within daily balance, you can pull that sort of information and do it by users, and then it'll show a non-off payment, a credit card payment, a cash payment, per person. If that's something that you can use and look at right now. You can also go into transactions and you have a detailed list of transactions per user. So if I was to go and click on myself, right, for today, it's going to see a breakout of how much cash I took, so on and so forth. So there's no Z out report right now, which we can bring to product two and see if that's something that we can, take out of POS and also put into reservations. But right now, those are going to be 2 really good reports that you can use and run to be able to see exactly, what each of your front desk reservationists are taking in, whether it's cash, credit, or card.
We have another question from Sean. Also, thank you, Mary.
Yeah, so just kind of so they because I think what Mary was trying to get at was we're kind of in the same situation where our store and check-in is all in the same building, and we have guests that will come in and pay for their reservation, but also buy stuff in the store. So that till has reservation money in it if they pay in cash, as
Mhm.
well as POS. So, or what you're saying is that Z out report in that situation doesn't really do any good?
The Z out is only going to be for point of sale as of right now. It's not going to bleed into your actual reservations. So
Okay.
from your
So if,
point, if you two taking cash for both and you're using the same drawer, then obviously you would just have to use reports to be able to count that money and make sure that that's, obviously appropriate. But like I told Mary, that's something that we can bring into product and development and see if that's something that we can eventually put into the reservation side of things as well.
yeah, I mean, I think that would be kind of important because if you have if you have a store and people are checking in at the store as well and they're paying in cash for a reservation, that would be nice just to have a total Z out for that situation. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We can definitely bring that to the team and then see what we can get on our roadmap.
okay, thank you.
And
Mhm.
Courtney, I'm taking notes for all the things we're going to bring back to the team for
Perfect.
Vlad.
Thank you, Bree. I appreciate it. I think somebody did say, if I saw in the comments, where to do discounts for POS. Did I see that, Bree?
Yeah, will you show Casey where the discounts are again, and then can you show discounts as a flat rate, not a percentage, if that's available?
Yes. So if you go to Cogwheel, you're going to go to account locations and then click on your location, and then you'll click on POS here, and then you can add your discounts and then your start time and end time. And then for the discount for the actual POS item, you could click in here and say, flat rate or percentage. Perfect. All right, now the last thing that I have, so obviously we went over availability grid, we went over point of sale, and one thing that we all like to plan on is marketing, right? So we love to end all of our webinars with, ways to add marketing into your business, because if you're not marketing and you're not getting new business, then your business is just staying stagnant. So one thing that Staylist added is if you go to Cogwheel and you go to reservations, we go to promo codes, which is where all of our discounts lie. I created one already. It's going to be called Back to School. So when you're taking your marketing and you're saying, all right, I'm going to plan all of my marketing events for the year because I pulled up an occupancy report, I pulled up my ADR report, I pulled up my RevPAR report, and I said, okay, I was really down in August this year. Maybe I need to think of a way and make a marketing plan to say, I'm going to run a promotion in March and April for August to be able to boost revenue in August, right? So, from an operator standpoint, once you make this decision, once you go in and you make all of you know, your pictures and your data that you want to post online, or maybe you want to post on social media for your stories, for your socials, maybe you want to send a newsletter out to everybody in your system. You're saying, okay, well, I know that this is going to start in March 1st, and it's going to end on April 31st, right? But I want it to run between August 1st and August 31st. So as an operator, now you have the availability to go in here, create your discount. We're going to call it back to school, right? Because maybe August drops off a little bit. People have their fun in June and July. August is kind of slow because kids are going back to school. Now you have this button that says usable dates. So apply to usable date ranges. What this means, different than reservation dates, usable dates are going to say, this promo, this reservation is going to start on this day. This reservation is going to start on March 1st and end on April 30th. And the reservation dates that they can book are going to be from August 1st to August 30th. So this promo is not going to begin until April 1st, or excuse me, March 1st. And I'll show you an example. So if I go in here and I go to August, which are going to be my dates for reservations, and I go to make a reservation, obviously, we look here under discounts. Oh, I turned it on already. Give me 1 second. Did not save. All right. I'll show you exactly why. So if you go in here, we go to August, then we click on dates that they want to stay in August. The discount is not going to populate. Why? Because April 1st or March 1st and April 30th, we're not in this, right? It's January 13th. So if I was to go in and I was going to say, let's go and turn it on, you could go in here, usable dates. Let's say it started yesterday and they only have until the 17th to book, and this doesn't even exist. We're going to click save. And then now all of a sudden, when I go in and I book for August, now those dates are going to be in there because it's usable. It is turned on. It is able for your guest online or your in-house reservation and front desk members to be able to book this reservation. So it's like a leave it and forget it, right? If you know that your promotion is going to start in March and it's going to run through April 30th, See, we'll turn this off. We know it's going to start on this day and it's going to end on this day for them to book between August 1st to August 31st. Then you leave it and forget it. You know that you've already set it up in the system. So now whenever your marketing team or you, if you're a one-man band and you push it out on socials, you push it on your website, you push it in a CRM campaign, then you know that that discount is going to work and it's going to be ready, set to go whenever March 1st rolls around. So it's just another way to be, to optimize, to have an automatic system that's going to really be able to, like I said, leave and forget it. Make sure that you plan accordingly so that you guys are, setting your marketing to where you want it to be. That's one, going to be a really good driver for extra revenue. And two, that's just going to be a way for you guys to be able to say, hey, it's located online. Obviously I turned it off here, but it's located online. Here's your promo, come stay with us. Come stay with us during these dates. And then be able to use your marketing that way. So really cool. Obviously for availability grid, point of sale, cancellation policy, and CRM. And these are just the beginnings of everything that we are going to have and provide for you for this 2026 season. So I'm super excited. I guess we'll open the floor now for some additional Q&A if you guys have some questions, and then we'll rock and roll from there.
We already have two questions in the chat.
Yeah.
One is from Shonda. She said, did I see we are able to select to exclude discounts for weekly and monthly rates?
Yes. So let me go ahead and pull that back up. So if you go into reservations, promos, click back to school, exclude from monthly rates. So exclude from weekly rates. So obviously those people are already getting a cheaper rate if they're staying monthly or staying weekly. So you're just going to say, yep, that does not apply for them. And they don't get that extra 20% off because you're already probably giving them 20% off. So yep, you would just click those boxes and you should be good to go.
Yay. And then James asked, will customers be able to book with a promo code from the customer facing side on the booking portal?
Yeah. So to your question, James, if you go in and you put this code here and then you say active online, then whenever they go to book for between August 1st to August 31st, they would put B2 school the same way that you would say on your email campaign, on your socials, or on your website. They would type that in and then that 20% would apply.
And Stephanie asked, did we go over the new messaging yet?
We have not gone over the new messaging yet. So that was going to be a little sneak peek for the future. So if you go into mine's going to be a demo account, so it's not going to be as pretty. I could pull up Stephanie's if she wanted me to, but if you click on this here, we're actually getting ready to launch a unified messenger. So if you are connected through our channel manager, which is if you go to Marketplace here, and then you turn on your online travel agency. So if you use Airbnb, bookings.com, HipCamp, so on and so forth, you're actually going to be able to have a unified messenger where all of the inquiries between Airbnb and booking.com, as of right now, we're going to release the rest of the OTAs later, but to start out with those two, they're going to be able to be filtered in here. You're going to see new inquiries from those two OTAs so that you don't have to keep logging into Airbnb or logging into bookings.com and having that conversation with your guest through a third party. It's going to be all completely Staylist native, and it's going to be living right here on your dashboard. You're going to be able to click into it and see, if they're booking, if it's just an inquiry, and there's actually going to be pre-made message templates for you to say, hey, thanks so much for confirming your booking. Here's everything that you need to know before check-in. So we're actually going to dedicate, Stephanie, an entire, and I know that some of you, saw this in the corner, because some of you guys like to poke around a little bit before we officially release some things. So we are going to have a completely dedicated webinar for Unified Messenger for you guys to see from start to finish exactly how it's going to work, especially if you have your channel manager turned on. So if you don't right now utilize the marketplace with the channel manager, then the Unified Messenger will not obviously turn on. but that will also be included in your $35 a month for your OTA. So you're not paying anything additional for that as of right now. So we're super excited for that to be launched for you guys. And obviously make operations smoother because that's what we're here to do so that you guys can know that the integrations work, that they are streamlining your business and making sure that we're, dotting our I's and crossing our T's and making sure that we're not losing any customers anywhere in the platform.
Stephanie offered to use hers, but we might want to wait until we do our dedicated webinar for that.
Yeah, and Stephanie, we can chat after as well, so that we can pull it because I know that you do use OTAs and all of your information in there is so beautiful. So we'll definitely chat and then, probably showcase yours whenever we do that webinar.
Pete has his hand up.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, just on the point of sale, and I don't have it really set up right now, but is it capable to do split payments yet? I know that is one thing I've been requesting. So if you use a gift card and you only have $10 on your gift card, and the bill was $25, you need to be able to take another payment type.
Yes, so I do know that that was in conversation and that was something that we talked about. I'm pretty sure it's only, let's try it. I don't think it's actually live right now. No, I can't do it. I don't think it's live right now, but I do know that it's been in product and development. So when that comes live, then we will let you know. But I do know that that is currently being worked on.
Okay, thanks.
And Sean has his hand up.
Yeah, sorry to be a pain. A couple things. On the marketing side with the discounts, is there anything in the works that from the online side of it when they are booking from your website that will flash those discounts whenever they are in those date ranges?
Not to my knowledge.
You understand what I'm saying? So when they go into the booking link for Staylist that takes them into Staylist, I know you can set up a discount so that it automatically applies or that they have to enter it.
So
Whereas
I'm trying to find the best way to say this. I don't think we want to be giving them the discount.
I figured that was going to be your response to that.
I think that if they are going to book and already know about the discount, then they can
Right.
utilize the discount. But I
Okay.
don't think we should say, hey, here's 25% off if they've never seen the discount.
Hmm.
So from an operator standpoint, I would advise against that. But like Zoe said, you can have promo codes listed online.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say, hey, since you're booking now, here's 25% off because they might just be booking to book. They might not be booking for the discount. So I wouldn't just see like, hey, here's free money. Just from experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question. I know you didn't really cover this. I know at one time I had asked what the percentage was on ACH versus credit card.
Mhm.
And I believe I was told that it was like 1.5%, but we did one the other day and it was still like 2.9%.
It should be 1.95%. So
Yeah.
let me just double check on that's Revels, Bree, if you want to write that down for me. And then I'll shoot you an email and just make sure that that's set up properly.
Yeah, we did one and the lady was going to do her ACH, but then when we looked at the percentage, it was almost what a credit card was. There was no advantage to it. So she just used her credit card to get her points on her credit card.
Yeah, if you also have a reservation ID, um, when I
Yeah.
email you, shoot that over to me so that I can do a little deep dive too.
Okay. Yeah, it was for an extended reservation, so I mean it was a substantial amount. The booking
Yeah.
was. It was for a month-long booking. And then one quick question. I know that you touched on this just about the new messaging.
Mhm.
I'm just curious how that's going to work now that Airbnb is no longer giving you phone numbers.
So because we would have a direct link into Airbnb, and so with that, we'll be able to pull that information, not the phone number, but you're going to be able to pull all the chat information from Airbnb into your unified stay list. And
Okay.
so then whenever they come and check in, because they're not going to give you email, right? They're
Right.
not going to give you phone number. They're just going to give
Right.
you name, and then how much they're spending. So whenever they come to check in with you on property, that's when you can retrieve all of that information from your guest, get
Okay.
their phone number, their email, and their obviously their address, so that you can put them into a marketing sequence at a later time.
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher to retrieve information
Yeah.
from that
Uh,
platform.
yeah. Unfortunately, we have no connection there, to be able to extract that
Right.
information from you from
Yeah,
Airbnb.
that's understandable. Um, so yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hmm. Of course.
We have no more hands up, but we have had some questions about Randy. We can send you the ACH info also. I'll add that to the list. Courtney, and then Pete asked if Facebook messaging was going to be part of unified messaging.
I don't think we've had that request, Pete. So I will also bring that to Vlad and then have him, look into that as well. I'm sure that would be a game changer. Yeah, I know a lot of people use Facebook, really heavily when it comes to marketing, but also some properties, that's actually their only website that they have is their Facebook account. So let me see what we can do there, and then we can get the ball rolling as well.
Yeah, I do
Last
dislike the 10,000 channels of communication. So you guys are on the right track. Just bring Facebook in because I think a lot of us get a lot of requests on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. Our development team has really been diving hard on Unified Messenger. So we're super excited to finally have this, in beta and then be able to provide this to you guys, from an operator standpoint, because logging into 4 different or 7 different or 10 different OTAs is just not feasible, from a work standpoint.
Great. I think that was there's one more hand up from Sean.
Yeah. So all of this stuff that you've talked about is really great. Two questions though. A, is everything that you've talked about going to be in AI so that if an employee looks up something about a Z out report or any of the stuff you've talked about, is it going to pop up and tell them? And then also on that front is in the support tab, is everything you've talked about setting this stuff up already in the system so that when we train our employees on some of this stuff, they can go to that and learn how to do it as well?
So first question, when it comes to AI, any permission basis that you put your users in, if they were to when the AI chatbot goes live, whenever you use that, it's going to use the same permissions. So if you don't give them access to look up reports, if you don't give them access to change rates, and they say to AI, "Hey, I want to change the rate for unit 12," it's going to say, "Sorry, we can't process this." So the AI is going to completely match what your user permissions are. And then your second question is going to be about knowledge base. And we, as a support team, are actually in the process of revamping all of knowledge base. So we will make sure that these new recent ones are going to be top priority for you guys to be able to go look, read, and train on. But because we've done so many over the past 6 months or really a year, then even down to how to create a reservation will be updated for you as well.
Okay, yeah, like the Z out report, once you train somebody on that, if they don't remember exactly how to do it or something, it
Yep.
would be nice for them just to research that and it will walk them through it instead of, if that makes sense, what I was asking. So,
No, for sure. Because our team knows that the knowledge base is going to be, one thing, obviously, to take down on support tickets so that you guys, if you have a simple question like, how do I turn on Z out report, or how do I even use it? We know that we want to make sure that your knowledge base is being able to train you and your staff appropriately.
the age thing for the alcohol, will that be able to be tracked so that we know that and once we turn that on, they have to put that in there before they can sell that item?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Of course.
Does anyone have any more questions? Oh, yes, Casey.
I have no idea if my microphone works, so someone tell me if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm poking around now. What is night audit? I know what the optimizer is and the night booster. What's night audit?
So Night Audit is also going to be its own webinar series.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah. So this is, it's one of those things that when we turn on to go into beta, we have people ask us questions like this because
Yeah,
yes, it's live, but we don't want to train you on it yet because we want to make sure that, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But
that's
basically,
fine.
yeah, but what Night Audit is going to do is it's going to provide you a checklist for everything that you need, your front office staff to do, what reports they need to run. Did they make sure that all, accounts are checked in or all checked out? Did you run the correct financial reports? Did you, basically crossing your T's and dotting your I's before
Ah,
you close
that'd
for
be
the night?
wonderful. We have
Yep.
cabanas that never get checked out for days.
Yep, and it's going to be one of those things. And I'm actually going to have Vlad on that webinar, and he's going to walk you guys through the entire thing from start to finish. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most utilized features in Staylist once it's completely live. So super excited to push that out to all of you. It's just not something that we're going to, obviously show you guys yet.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, of course, Casey. Thank you. Pete also asked about a storage tab. I know that I'm saying these are all coming, and before we close, I'm actually going to tell you what your next couple of webinars are going to be on. But the storage tab is also a separate module within Staylist, just like POS is. So if you are, watching today and you're like, I don't have a POS tab, I'm really interested in POS. Let me know and we can set up a meeting so that I can help you guys walk through how to turn all of these on. We are going to have our own webinar on storage as well so that you guys can see exactly how storage works. From putting it in to paying for it, from a move to, putting it back in storage, or however you guys want to run it through your business. So I'm super excited to show you guys that as well. Storage has been around, just not something that a lot of properties utilize. So, whenever that webinar comes out, especially you, Pete, I recommend you hopping on and kind of seeing what all storage encompasses. So super excited about that. Any questions before I close out?
It looks like no.
Perfect. All right, guys. So our next 3 webinars, we're actually going to do an accounting series on the webinars. So our first one is going to go from cash to accrual and what that means for your business. Then we're going to be doing a little bit of deep dive into strategies when it comes to accounting. And then lastly, how you guys are going to utilize that within Staylist. And we're going to have a guest speaker. His name is Tyler Otto on all 3 of these webinars, and he's going to be leading these for you guys. And it's going to be such a great experience. So highly recommend you putting these on your calendar. They are bi-weekly. Going ahead and registering for these. So if we have content that we need to provide for you, before the webinars come out, that we can go ahead and shoot those to your email. But at the end of the day, thank you guys so much for attending this webinar today, and happy 2026. Again, I am your customer success manager. And if there's anything that you guys need, don't hesitate to pop a time into my calendar so that we can do a little bit more deep dive or turn some of these features on and learn, maybe what you're not utilizing within Staylist. Bye, guys.
I thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.